Joining me today from the Department of Trade Consumer Protection. Is that Michelle? It
It's
is.
me.
How are you doing, Michelle? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
Glad to have you back. We like the other cast members. No, they're great workers here that are part of DATCP, but you do have a spot on the show that we just love having you on. So, and you get to dissect using the AI technology imposter scams. And I said to you, I circled this one because I'm just curious, just because. So what are you seeing out there when it comes to imposter scams that are using AI technology?
Yeah, this is pretty exciting on one hand, but it's very scary on the other hand because it's another opportunity for scammers to take advantage and show how good they're getting at their craft of trying to deceive people. So AI, artificial intelligence, and this time it's being used to clone voices. And they're using individuals' voices to call family members and deceive them into thinking it's the other family member giving them a call. So to break it down further, the scammers are using the AI, artificial intelligence technology, to capture voice from maybe social media spots, but from an individual. So let's say a grandchild. They're out there capturing those voice from videos that are posted on social medias and putting together sentences that somewhat make sense in that grandchild's voice. And now they call the grandparent and indicate in the grandchild's voice that they are in trouble and they need assistance, and don't tell mom and dad. And the whole time, the grandparent can think that this is legitimately really the grandchild talking to them because they've set it up in a way where they've created enough voice image to respond to questions and have an interactive conversation. Now, if you go out and sample some of this online and look at some of the stories about it, you're going to see that you can hear a little bit of the technology. There might be goofy gaps in the sentence or hiccups because it's not perfect, but it's enough to trick people into responding and feeling fearful for their grandchild or their own child. Because if you're in a hurry and it's an emergency, you're going to respond.
Yeah, it's it's kind of scary because your first impression, if you recognize the voice in anything, that right just instantly puts your blinders on and you will be scammed. But the good news here is there's some classic things that are going to stand out as this conversation develops, so to speak. And I'm so excited for you to break that down because they are the classics that we see in so many different imposter scams, and it has to do with the money collecting part.
Absolutely. So same rules apply. If you are asked to wire money, pay by cryptocurrency, pay by a prepaid gift card for an emergency or to pay a bill or get somebody out of jail, those are the same signals and signs, regardless of how a scam is delivered, that it is a scam. It is not legitimate. So pay attention to those warning signs. The wiring money, prepaid gift card, paying by cryptocurrency, sending and wiring cash, again, that wiring thing all the way through. If they ask for your personal information in order to take action and they need your social security number, your bank account number in order to deal with something, again, those are things you need to disconnect the call. Don't be scared, disconnect the call and, contact a friend or family member using those regular legitimate resources that you would. And don't panic if they don't answer. Reach out to another family member and just say, okay, I got this call. Is everything okay? Is grandchild XYZ in London? No, at school, that hasn't left the country. You're going to know right away that it's a scam.
So if you did give out some information and then realize, oh man, Michelle told me that I should have hung up, but I may have given out something, what would you say your first step would be as a consumer? Do we call 911? Should we call Department of Trade Consumer Protection? Where do you start?
So if we need to think about what is the information that was released, your bank account number, call the bank right away. tell them what you did, get a stop order really on your bank account information, freeze that down so no one can take anything. If you've wired money, the other thing you need to do is right away go back to the source where you wired the money to try and stop the transaction. And you can contact the police, but there are things that these companies that wire money are supposed to do to try and stop those frauds now that the Federal Trade Commission has put in place on settlement agreements. So you want to reach out as soon as possible to see if you can get that stopped and reversed. Sending cryptocurrency is nearly unstoppable, but again, reach out to the authorities and see if you can get that stopped, and cash is going to be gone if you've sent that. Then the next step, if you've given personal information, social security number or something like that, contact Consumer Protection so we can give you some details of different sources you should contact, putting a security freeze in place on your credit report to lock things down, determining if you should call the Social Security Administration to report that as well. And we'll give you that in written form so you can use it as a checklist.
It's great information. Like you said, you can spot these. The further it goes in, the more likely you're going to start seeing more red flags pop up in these. But I think you got to be careful, like you said, but don't panic. I think in any of the scams, you and that your staff have shared with us many times that it's catching you at that moment. But in that moment, you got to stop, think, and react appropriately to prevent yourself from getting yourself in trouble. Very common in a lot of this.
Yeah, the other thing I want to add to that is do not beat yourself up. I mean, this is an advanced technology that they're using to impersonate your family using their voice clone. So they are getting very tricky in advance. So do not beat yourself up and think that you, oh boy, that was ridiculous. I should have caught that. There are warning signs, yeah, but things happen. So now it is just take the steps, talk about it, share the information so you can help others through this.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much. We knew that it was coming eventually. AI is very interesting technology, and we're seeing and hearing about it more and more. But now you can all know that Michelle gave you some great tips here to prevent this from happening when you hear one of these calls and these similar voices on the other end. Michelle, thank you so very much. If people want to learn more about this or the great work that you're doing at Department of Trade Consumer Protection, how can we find you?
Please call 1-800-422-7128 or go to DATCP.wi.gov.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you.